What key are we in? G?
Yeah, and then I read reports and they were like, yeah, he's not coachable. And I was like, what? And he goes, I guess because he was so good at Alabama, he just went into the NFL like, I'm the best. Like, you don't have to tell me what to do. I'll do it.
Are we going to keep this Alabama talk?
We're keeping it. We're going to keep some of it. We're rolling.
The Roll Tide podcast.
Yeah,
Roll Tide.
Is that a podcast? Is that a real podcast?
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
The Roll Tide podcast?
They have plenty of Alabama themed podcast and everything, so I'm sure it's out
high
there.
school football teams have their own podcasts.
Really?
Yeah,
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Which I'm like, that is such a niche. Like, who keeps up? Who cares?
I know Texas has a huge high school football like following, and then I live in Rock Hill, and Rock Hill is now known as Football City, USA. Because we have like something like over 20 people from our city in the NFL right now.
Really?
So
now?
Yeah, or not right now, but overall.
Yeah, overall.
Dude,
which is still.
Shama, let's go up there. Let's find like the most athletic kids at 6 years old and just sign them, like become their agents when they're 6 and lock them into 30-year contracts.
It's Church Stories agency.
Yeah,
Yes.
they'd be like, what? I don't know. So like, yeah, just scribble right here, 6-year-old. We got this.
Start making like off-brand Yeezys for them to wear while they're on the field.
That's true. Welcome to Church Stories.
How you living?
How y'all living? I'm your host and a fresh into marriage husband named Shama.
And my name is PD, and in addition to being brothers in Christ with our guest, we are brothers in Tide.
Roll Tide.
I'm gonna do a podcast count. There should be a drinking game tied to this podcast of take a non-alcoholic shot of something every time you hear Roll Tide. Let's just go ahead and start that right now.
Yeah,
Roll Tide.
I got this this elephant canvas print out for Felipe today. So I found this at Ross, and I was like, I'm just going to slap an Alabama sticker on it. So I ordered Alabama stickers.
Shut up. That's not even like real.
Yeah.
Wow.
I honestly thought the A was actually part of the painting.
It looks 3D.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I just went on Amazon, and I was like, can you find Alabama stickers on there? And sure enough, you can. So
It looks
Dang.
very
Boom.
official.
Oh, by the way, I'm Felipe.
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest for today is a friend of ours.
he was kind of an urban legend as far as like the camp kids.
The camp circuit
as far
that
as
we
they were
worked.
concerned. Yeah, because I remember going there and they're like, oh, is Felipe going to be there this year? And then all the people like running to go meet Felipe when we got there. I was like, well, this Felipe
Who's this
guy must
Felipe?
be
Who's
a
this
big
Felipe
deal.
guy?
And then I just ghosted the camp. Like,
You and me both, my friend. And PD.
I don't know
Yeah.
what happened there. Like, I don't know how I became an urban legend. I don't know what I did to become one. I was just a lifeguard who didn't do anything and didn't want to do anything but lifeguard. And they tried to make me like I almost got kicked out of camp one year just because I wouldn't do anything. And
But they
were
kept
like,
on bringing you back.
Yeah, well, it was a paying position.
You got paid? You got paid?
Well, it's
Shut
because I was a certified lifeguard.
How much you get paid?
It was like $300.
Were they legally required to pay you?
Wait a second. $300 a week?
No, it was $300 for the whole camp. So it wasn't,
Yeah,
because I'd have to take, I think, 3 to 4 weeks off of work.
Oh.
And the $300 wasn't worth it.
How much did that cover? That could compensate like what? Like a week?
Yeah.
Like a week and a half?
Yeah, it wasn't really worth it, but I always had fun. And there were certain camp, I guess the supervisor of the whole camp.
We can't drop names.
I'm not going to drop names. There was a certain one though that me and her did not get along very well, and she almost kicked me out of camp.
Dang.
And they actually had to bring the
the state
lady
overseer?
No, not the state. It didn't get to there, but it got to the point where they had to bring in the person that's over all the camps. They had the people that were over individual camps, and then there was a person that was over all the camps.
Yeah.
And they had to bring them in and have a talk with me. And then after that, the person that was over all the camps was kind of talking to me one-on-one, and they're like, I don't know what you did. You just stepped on her foot the wrong way, and she wanted to get rid of me. Like, but it was my last year, so I just kind of and didn't care, which wasn't Christian-like of me, but I didn't really care at that point.
Kids need help swimming over the summer. Who cares? I'm Felipe.
The pool was only like 6 feet deep. So
Yeah,
it was just stand up and walk.
It was done. And the amount of bodies of 12 to 18-year-old bodies that were in that pool those weeks, it was, I don't know why I swam. I really don't. I was a counselor, and I want to be like, hey, do you want to go? Yeah, I'm in the pool. I was like, this is a tank of germs, and nobody should touch it.
Yeah,
But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie.
It was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun. Camp was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I can't say anything bad about my camp experience. I had a lot of fun with everybody. Like I said, I don't know how I became a legend per se, but it happened. You know,
we're honored that you were like, hey, I'm gonna come through. I'm gonna take some time out of being a legend and talk about it. So.
I really wanted to be with this. You guys have had a lot of good podcasts, and I'm like, man, that'd be really cool. And it's always been like a goal of mine to be on a podcast. So goal achieved.
Yeah, here
Like
you are.
the little PlayStation trophy just being in the upper right hand corner of my life. And said,
that's so good.
Podcast achieved.
Heck yeah, dude! This is a ton. So we were recording in PD's room over there, but now we're in here, another room over.
Yeah,
And it's been a ton of fun.
nice little studio.
This is nice. It's somewhere. We're getting somewhere.
Yeah, we were talking at Shama's wedding,
Yeah.
and he's talking about how he wanted to come on the show and how he would listen to it at work, right?
Oh yeah. I love. So I do wildlife control,
Which is wild.
yes.
It's insane. I follow your
that
Facebook.
explains the picture of you with the owl.
Yes.
Listen,
yes.
follow Felipe. Plug your Instagram right now. Plug it right
what is
now.
it? I think it's the real Felipe Griff.
Look,
or-
we're going to drop it in the description.
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm pointing down.
yeah.
We're going to drop it in the description so people can find it.
It's either the real Felipe Griff or the real Felipe Griffith. I changed it not long ago. So I always forget. I change it like every 6 months just to keep people on their toes. But yeah, I catch wild animals for a living, such as squirrels, bats, snakes, raccoons, owls. I had a fox that I had to get out of a trap earlier this week. Somebody had trapped it on their own, but then they didn't want me to take their trap, so I had to physically remove the fox and put it in my own trap.
Let me ask something.
Yes.
Do y'all just quote people per project like
Yes,
that?
yes.
Really? So they're
There's
like, I got an owl stuck in my vent.
Yeah,
And you go,
it's we have a service call just to come out and knock on your door, and then after that it's a per animal charge or
Really?
and then
Really?
we also do repair work, so we double as like a construction company.
shut up.
So then we go, hey, it's going to be this much to fix it, and they're like, I don't know if I want to pay that, and then we're like, well, you're going to get animals again if you don't.
Eesh.
Oh, where do I sign?
Oh,
So-
man, that's so good.
That's how it goes. So I'm an inspector. I go from house to house and basically tell people, hey, this is the animal and this is what's wrong with your house. And while doing that, I'll have crazy. I was talking to a guy yesterday. I said I'd probably put 1,000 miles on a truck in a week.
Wow.
So an oil change every month, because he was like, man, you're in here like all the time. I'm like, I drive 1,000 miles a week. So
Jeez.
between jobs, I'll pop on the podcast and listen, and it's awesome. You guys are doing great work. Funny.
you.
There have been multiple times where I'm like gripping the steering wheel, like I can't laugh any harder because I might like wreck.
Oh, man, that's
And
awesome.
I wanted to go ahead. I'll get this out of the way. I got you guys some gifts
Shoot.
based on the podcast here.
Oh, no.
PD, you talk about Asian food a lot.
Oh,
so-
heck. Dude,
Oh, man.
soy sauce. Dude,
And-
this soy sauce is going to be gone. Like,
No, it's
before
not
the
going
end
to
of
be
the week.
gone. I'm just going to set it over there. It's going to be part of the studio now.
Yeah.
Until you run out of soy sauce.
You're right.
Yeah, I know.
And then he's gonna
be a
be
bottle.
like, "Where's that soy sauce at?" Oh no! And then he's gonna run in here. And, oh, there it is. It's gonna be like a drug addict. Like he's gonna be itching for soy sauce.
You're not wrong.
And then They didn't have what is it? LaCroix.
Shoot. They didn't have LaCroix.
LaCroix. I don't drink sparkling water, so I don't know how to pronounce these. But I brought you some sparkling water.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You can drink it. You don't have to.
High quality.
Yeah. That's the only brand they had at the store I stopped at.
I appreciate it, man.
No problem.
Dude, this is Perrier. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but I just want to sound fancy. Do you wanna partake of our gifts right now?
Are we gonna
sip some of that soy sauce?
I'm just gonna set it up right here.
I'll sip some water that PD's mom gave me. Thank you, PD's mom.
So, Felipe, we have a very funny segment that you're familiar with. Have you ever heard of this segment called Soundcloud?
Yes.
Soundcloud rappers?
SoundCloud Christians, yeah.
Yes.
The tagline was good intentions, bad execution.
Yes.
Or no, I said questionable execution.
Yes.
Okay. So this is one of our one person that PD has found.
I think I'm gonna rate this. I think it was Josh that did Little Pumps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to do something a little different.
Want to do Roll Tides?
We can do Roll Tides. Roll Tide. Let's see. What's another SoundCloud like rapper? That's terrible.
We got Lil Pump,
Lil Xan.
Lil Xan. Who else?
I don't know if that's good enough for like a Christian podcast.
I don't even know, man.
Short for
I could do how many like Bad Barbies?
Yeah,
or the Catch Me Outside
Barbies,
girl.
Dude, yeah.
She's like a SoundCloud rapper now, isn't she?
I mean, she got signed.
Little Yachties.
Little Yachties.
I could do Little Yachties.
Yeah.
You could do on a scale of 1 to 10 Little Yachties.
That's what we'll do. We'll do
one Little
Yachties.
Yachty being the least.
Yes.
And for the parents listening, Lil Xan is short for Little Alexander.
Yes, of course.
You're like, that sounds like a drug reference. We're turning this off,
No,
sweetie.
it's Alexander, guys.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a rapper
Okay.
from West Virginia.
Ooh.
Do you want me to go grab a speaker, or do you want to just put it up to the...
Do you have it connected to your?
It's in my bathroom.
I mean, like, I was just gonna put it up to the microphone so we could all hear it.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'll be cool.
This is called Benjamin, hailing from West Virginia.
Ooh.
Okay, so he probably thought he was super clever calling himself Benjamin, being named Benjamin.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you search Benjamin, there are like 200 Benjamins.
So he's a very hard. He's a very specific and hard one to find.
Well, the way I found it was a sponsored post on Instagram, and I always listen to
So
it.
he paid for it.
Yeah.
He's paying for that promotion.
You know, that's my favorite thing to comment is, you paid for this.
It hurt. I don't know. How much do Instagram sponsorships cost?
We should do one.
Yeah. We should do one of this episode.
I think I did one. I was looking into it at one point because I was trying to start like a small brand, and it wasn't bad, but I was like, I don't want to pay this right now. I would definitely look into it.
How much? Like, are we talking like 50?
I can't remember. It was something per day. It was like a per day charge, or they may do and you can buy different packages and stuff. So
yeah, me and PD, we just lean towards making good stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm like,
you guys are
hopefully
killing
people
it.
will share it.
The
Yeah.
meme
Thanks,
page is
man.
killing it.
It's just kind of like, if you make good stuff, people see it. I think that's kind of what it boils down to. But Benjamin did make something good enough to be sponsored and good enough to make the show.
Well,
there you go.
Not he sponsored it. It's not like
Yeah. Well, good. Oh, good enough for
he
him.
thought it
to
was
think
good enough to-
it's good enough to be
Yeah.
sponsored.
Yes.
I did send him a DM that said, "Delete this, nephew."
So is this is a Christian rapper?
Yes.
Oh,
I want to play.
I'm excited.
I want to play this song, and then I want to play another song that I love, and then we might play a third. For the record, my wife hates this segment. She thinks that us ragging on people's music is the worst thing possible.
but
Grace,
sometimes you
skip
need
this.
it.
Right.
Sometimes you need this.
We're the voice of truth.
Yeah, like you
Tells
can't.
me
You know,
difference.
Okay, they're way better than the music we review.
you need like a Randy Jackson to just go. That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, that's a no for me,
come
dog.
on. Like-
And we're gonna be those Randy Jacksons. This is Benjamin WV. This is called Jesus Work on Me. No punctuation. Or it could be Jesus Work on Me. No offense, Felipe.
Yeah. Okay.
Getting like an Ice Cube vibe.
Yeah.
I've been creeping, I've been seeking. How you treat him? Why you eating? How'd you meet him? Why you seen him? He's a demon. You won't leave him. Why believe him? He's mistreating. Should be fleeing, but you seek him. You're so deep and hard to leave him. Let me meet him so I can beat him. I don't know what you're going through, but I know he is holding you back from getting to know you. Girl, you need me to show you. God, I need you to hold me back from killing this homie. Cause Lord, he don't know me.
Calm down, Ben.
Then the unleash the old me. Lord, I need you to walk with me.
He hit it with the Rick Ross.
She don't deserve me, but she's always flirting, so I'm always hurting. My heart is deserving with only one serving. I gotta start curving, cause she's not learning that I am worthy, but she don't deserve me. I know you heard me, you will no longer hurt me. So I gotta start showing and just leave the unknowing and stop tiptoeing the foregoing. The hood don't going, that fake love ongoing. Got my mind exploding, she's doing me dirty. Look at her
His southern accent really slipped out when he said, man.
Yeah, like
How long is this?
yeah.
I don't know, man. But
I want to hear him talk normally. Because like I want to know if the Tupac voice is a real thing or
It's
is
not.
that just
There's no way.
yeah.
I don't know, man.
Is he
I
just
think
trying there? And I love the
he's-
huh.
Yeah.
The huh was
Him at
great.
a magic show, like, ooh.
And like the lyrical content, like was
I'm
he?
still
is he-
learning. I'm still yearning.
Is
I'm
he-
still growing.
He was like, I think he's upset
Whoa.
because a girl is flirting with him.
That's what. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get. Like, is he mad because a girl is trying to date him and she's not a Christian or something? Like, what?
But that also sounds like he's mad because she's trying to get with another guy. He's like, she's always flirting and I'm always hurting and and
So
she's
is
not
it-
worthy. Or
Is it his? Yeah. Is it his girlfriend that's like cheating on him? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm
Listen,
a little confused.
The key ingredient of being a SoundCloud rapper is being as vague as possible.
Well, he's
So-
being weirdly specific, but not in a way that makes sense.
Which
Yes.
you like, what is he talking about? This is one of my personal faves. PD sent me this while I was on my honeymoon.
Ooh.
and,
I should not have done that.
You shouldn't
I'm
have
going to
done
say
that.
it right now on the
But
But
record.
you know what? I was texting you back, making the mistake of being interactive, so
Yeah.
you kind of knew that I was free and was up to listen to SoundCloud rappers.
That means when PD gets married, you just have to blow him up.
PD,
On his honeymoon.
I cannot wait.
Send me
I'm
the
gonna be
worst
like-
Christian rapper you can find.
I'm gonna send you hour-long Vine compilations. Be like, don't watch alone. This is called Southern Ways.
Oh.
Oh, no. I know this
Is
one
West
because
Virginia even considered the South?
like barely.
Yeah,
I don't know, dude.
I mean, I know they miss a lot of teeth, but like,
She loves my southern ways and the way my lips
all right, Tupac voice confirmed fake.
stop thinking about her face. I know she know, hey,
Just don't sing, man.
my southern ways, my southern ways. She loves my
The echo.
ways. I know she know, hey, hold up, let me get the flow up, show up, yeah, you know us. She likes the way I talk, the way I am, her countryman. She doesn't understand that I can't do nothing less plain. Cause I work a lot in the cold and hot. I'm always in the thoughts. I love the
What? Oh, wait, did he mean that the way that it came out?
Wait a second.
Did,
Wait a second.
Because I work a lot, I'm always in the thoughts.
Yes,
yeah,
he did.
maybe he meant like his own.
Oh.
Because he's a Christian rapper, he should not be like boasting about his love of the thoughts.
Yeah, we just went from you just went from Tupac to Ludacris. Because
I love the hook. She loves my Southern ways, which I'm like, what is that?
Well, I'm the worst
Southern
part is
Tide
like,
and flannel.
and the way my lips taste. Like, don't rap about your lips, man.
yeah. You're supposed to be rapping about God, not her. It's another song about a girl, so I feel like he's. When do we get to the Christian part?
I
Wait
think
a minute.
maybe he just like
Maybe he gets married at one point.
What is that song that you were playing earlier, PD?
Oh,
Do we want to listen to that one?
Sure, I'll find it.
Right now, I'm at like 3 little yachties. So we're looking at. And if we transferred that into boat terms,
Little boats.
he's like a
actually
John
next
boat right now.
Okay.
And I'm
boat?
wanting like a yacht.
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm giving it a 1.5 right now.
Okay, this is called.
I'm giving him a 3 because the beats, the music itself is pretty sound.
It is.
Like I could
That's the
see like
thing.
one of my local rappers on it, like actually jamming it.
So,
but-
PD, what did you say earlier? You said it sounds like you said he's in the right direction. He said he said
I
his
said
heart's
his
in the
heart-
right.
yeah.
He said his heart's in the right direction.
but his
Well, sometimes his heart's in
delivery,
the right place.
yeah.
I mean,
But this is we're doing a triple header on the show today. So this is called Daddy's Little Girl.
Oh gosh.
it's about his daughter. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. He's talking about thoughts last time.
These little girls, and I promise I'll give you the world. You're more beautiful than a pearl. Yes, you are daddy's little girl. You are daddy's little girl. You are daddy's little girl.
Oh God!
Oh my gosh.
You are daddy's little girl. As Mariah, I will give you the world. I remember the day I found out I was gonna have me a child. I dang near about passed out, especially when I seen your ultrasound. Oh my God. I knew right then.
it's just so bad.
I knew right there that you were my girl.
Well, astute
my
observation.
gosh.
Did he? What? Okay.
Oh man, I love. Listen. We're
Okay,
not
yeah.
ragging. I love, like we said, his heart's in the right place.
yeah. Especially on that song. On the other songs,
1.5.
not so much.
I'm down at 1.5 now. Little low. He's like the raft.
Oh man.
Who was it?
Rose and Titanic. Is that what you're gonna say?
You could say that. I was thinking of the movie Tom Hanks.
Yes. Yes. Castaway.
Castaway, yes. Yes. I was
What a
thinking more like
specific reference.
the raft on Castaway where it's like barely tied together. It's, you know.
and his daughter's actually a beach ball.
Yes.
Ooh,
Ooh.
well said.
That plot twist.
Man, dude, what did you? PD was playing that earlier. I hadn't heard the first song, but man, I was like, the girl, Pearl.
I like how he goes from "I am always hurting" because she's curving. I don't like whatever the line was. And then he goes, "Girl, I found out."
I can't tell if he's
About
like in
ultrasound.
the relationship or he's trying to be in the relationship, but she's not worth it or she's not worthy. That's what
Yeah,
he
he
said.
said that's weird.
She's not worthy. I'm like, wait a second. How are you? Are you trying to win
Are you
her
judging?
over?
Are you
Yeah.
judging people's hearts now?
She is not
Mr.
worthy.
Rapper?
If you're gonna write a song for a girl and it's not a breakup song and you're trying to win her over, you probably shouldn't call her not worthy.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to say about anybody though. Like it makes you sound so pretentious.
Yeah, for real. Definitely when you're not dropping fire on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Oh man, I liked this segment. I'm not gonna lie.
I
This
really
is,
enjoy ragging on
Benjamin,
people.
if you're
Yes.
listening, we
Hit
love
us
you.
up.
We hit you. Hit us
Follow me
up.
on Instagram, man.
Yeah.
Hit us up. We wanna have you on the show.
Yeah.
I wanna catch wildlife with you.
Yeah.
What if that's
Let's go get a
Felipe
fox
is
or
in
something.
North Carolina. We're close to North Carolina.
I mean,
Come through.
yeah, I'm out of Charlotte. That's not. You jump on 77 and head my way, man. We'll catch a fox or something.
if we have a network, we're gonna start a TV show where like people like celebrities come hunt wildlife with you.
Oh man, that'd be the dream.
My father-in-law used to have a TV show that ran out of Greenville.
About wildlife?
No, it was a motorcycle TV show.
Okay.
His Jack Russell would ride on the gas tank of his bike, and that was pretty much the show. And he'd go to like all the big events like Daytona and Sturgis and all that. And there was 2 shows, and after the show, he quit the show because there was some moral things going on that he just had to walk away from the show. And he was going to start a wildlife show, and it was going to be about, going in and getting animals out and everything. And Billy the Exterminator beat him by like 8 weeks.
Shut up.
So,
Really?
Production was canceled, and he was like in production. Like they had,
Really?
there's somewhere out there. There's videos of had fully edited and everything. Like the intro, I remember laughing at the intro because he had like caught a possum and like in the intro they had pulled him through the crawl space, but they were trying to make it look like it was the possum.
Wow.
And so like they were like producing it and everything, and then it just got Billy the Exterminator came in and was like,
How many seasons does that show run?
I have no idea. It's all fake. It's all fake. I've watched Turtle Man.
Live action.
Yeah, live action.
Yeah.
Yee! And then Billy the Exterminator, and I watch it. First off, I'm like, why am I watching this? I'm literally watching what I do for work. And then
It's like a Subway employee going home and making a sandwich.
Exactly. And then I'm like, this is fake. Like, that's fake. Like,
So it's like a UFC fighter watching a bad kung fu movie.
exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. You know,
That's a much better analogy, PD. Good job.
yeah,
Killing the game over
you
here.
killed it over there. But yeah, it would be fun to do a TV show. I've ran the idea by him a couple times, like, hey, we should film some stuff, and then he'll be like, oh yeah, film something, and I'll film something. And he goes, what are you doing playing at work? And I'm like,
I'm doing what you... Come on,
never mind.
please.
So I just, like, that was early in my career, too. Like, I have a couple of videos that I was having fun with my coworkers and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that just stopped. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, well... Then he wanted me to film, like, documentary type stuff. And I'm like, no. I'm good.
Have you ever had an incident where like an animal like got you, like clawed your face or something? Like
I got bit by a cat one time. And we don't even do cats. Like, figure that out. We don't do domestic animals.
The time you branched out.
Yeah, there was a strange situation where...
Wait, why not domestic animals?
Because that's my state certifications only cover wildlife. But there are strange times where animal control is supposed to do domestic animals. But if the animal gets into the ceiling in the attic area, animal control won't mess with it at all. So they have to call a private company like us to come in and remove it. Well, this cat had been giving me problems for probably about 4 or 5 days. And I was there with another guy, and the cat just walked maybe 2 feet from me, and the other guy just said, grab it. And I grabbed it. No gloves on, no anything. And I mean, it went off like the Tasmanian devil. Ooh. And my hand was all, I got bit like, I got to count 1, 2, 3 times on my hand. It didn't require stitches or anything, but I had to get some shots and be on an antibiotic for like 10 days and all that. So yeah, that's the only time I've ever been bitten.
really?
That's crazy.
I stay away from their mouths typically because I don't want to get bit.
Okay, so...
Welcome to the Wildlife Podcast.
Yeah, welcome back. Thanks if you're just now tuning in.
And if you're just now tuning in, you weirdo, like you don't jump into a podcast in the middle.
Don't fast forward and be like, yeah, I'm getting everything I need to know.
I don't want to know these guys' names or what they do or anything. I just want to hear something.
Okay, so let's back it up real quick. So we gave you an introduction and you told us about yourself.
Yes.
We've known you. I've known you how long? What, like 8 to like? I don't know.
I want to say like 6, 8 years or something like that. I remember the first time I ever met you. I think it was at camp.
Okay.
And you were a cabin leader, and I'm like, first off, I'm like, wait, black people go to this camp? And for those who don't know, I'm Hispanic/black. My dad's black and Hispanic.
Yeah.
So I can say that without getting in trouble. But I'm like, because at the time I'm like the only Hispanic
Dude, you're the only
ethnicity,
ethnic person
and here comes this guy leading like 30 people, random chant.
Yeah,
random
kids
chant.
hated. Kids loved me.
And I'm like,
kids loved me. Staff members hated me.
Yes, I will.
Everybody was like, could you please shut? And I'd be like,
I was the same. I as a staff member, I do have to say at the time, I was like, oh wait, we have a black guy here? Awesome. Then I was like, God, he's annoying. Can he please be quiet? And then I think it was after you left youth pastoring where you and I started really talking.
Yeah, I came up to Rock Hill a couple of times, hung out with you guys.
Yeah, and you took my waffle maker.
Dude, can I tell you something? Speaking of your waffle maker.
That was your wedding present, by the way.
Dude, guess what? We've used it so many times. I used it today. I just made waffles like an hour before I came over here
awesome.
with your waffle maker.
Is my picture still on your fridge?
Yeah, no, it is not. No,
I figured
it's
you'd
not.
take
I'm
it
sorry.
down. It's fine. You have a wife now.
My life's been gentrified. You know
Yes.
what's up. You married
Yeah,
a white woman.
I
You
did
know-
marry
you know
a white
what-
woman.
You know what
yeah.
happened.
I had to, I love you. She's probably going to listen to this, and I love you, babe. But I did have to teach her how to like season food a little. She was pretty good. She grew up in a household where you would get where all the seasonings are already together, and you just kind of shake it out.
Nah.
I showed her how to
No.
do it, where it's like you take like specifically the salt, the paprika, maybe a little lemon pepper, and then I turned her on to some Spanish seasoning. Sazangoya,
Uh-oh.
always in our house, big box of it. She loves it. So
PD, take notes. I don't know what
I've
you're
been
doing, just
taking
listening right
mental
now.
notes.
I need you. Do you season food, PD?
No.
How?
a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper.
It's like you want to think white people don't season food, and you think that's just an insult. But then, it's like the truth. Like they don't listen.
This is how I season food.
He's shaking the soy sauce over a plate, an
it
imaginary
doesn't,
plate.
PD, that doesn't count. Get you in on the game, brother.
Yes.
I've been
makes
learning from
food
the
better.
Asians. I guess I need to
You
take
listen.
notes from
You listen to rap music. This is just the next level up.
Yeah, okay.
We
Okay.
got to get you a little more flavor in there.
Yeah.
It starts with
it's
rap
about season
music.
your life.
Then it starts with seasoning, actual
I
seasoning.
wonder if Benjamin can season food well.
Let me tell you something. You don't want to catch that man in the kitchen, dude. It's probably just like a dust cloud of just.
know.
Freaking, he probably looks like the dude from what is it called? The dad in Powerpuff Girls. Sugar, spice, and everything nice. Benjamin.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude, so you're married.
Yes,
How
I am
long have
married.
you been married?
It's been about 2.5 years now. It's been fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
2.5 years?
Yeah. Well, we've been together for 7 years.
Okay,
That's what
okay.
makes it seem so long. We've been together. This upcoming February will be 7 years, but only married for 2.5. It's been fun. She started her big girl job. She's a teacher now.
That's awesome.
So it's been very interesting because she wakes up like a lot earlier than I need to wake up. So. That's been fun watching her do the teacher thing. Shout out to all teachers. Any teachers listening to the podcast,
Yeah, educating the youth.
hit me up on Instagram.
You sound like a rapper trying to give back to the community.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to all the teachers.
I'm about to drop this hot fire bar about teachers.
I love watching you and your wife online. I'm friends with you both on
Yeah.
Facebook. There is something about watching young couples do the marriage thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like live, like be married. That is just so encouraging to me. Where I'm like, cool, y'all are doing it. I've known you
Yeah.
guys for forever. Y'all are married. It's encouraging.
Yeah,
It's just, I don't know. It's not rare, but at the same time, it's just,
Yeah,
I don't know, it's
we're
cool.
happy to be an encouragement. We really don't try to be. We just kind of do our own thing. Be who we are. We've always had fun, and that's one thing that I tell people with marriage is it's good to be friends.
Yeah.
I've seen personally where people get married and they're not friends and they're not happy.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about my wife is we're friends. We have a lot of fun. We can go out with other friends and maybe we're out with friends that aren't married and we act like we're just friends. We don't really, play the whole marriage thing. We we have fun with one another, make each other laugh, and that's rare to be able to laugh together. And that we try to laugh together every day if we can.
What do you accredit like your marriage? Like, did you do premarital counseling? Did you do any of that?
We did a lot of premarital counseling. We actually met at church, so the whole church life has kind of been a part of our marriage since the beginning. Because the very first place I met her was a family night.
Boy.
Yeah, first conversation was at a family night. Yeah, and we were in line to get hot dogs. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Where it all started.
exactly.
You eat hot dogs every honeymoon? Is that like a thing?
Actually,
First, you're a beast behind the grill, so I know you ain't touching no hot dogs.
yeah, no, I actually for our anniversary every year we have ribs.
Yeah.
Because on our first date ever, I had some money at the time, and I was gonna kind of take her to a really nice restaurant, and it was Valentine's Day, so I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna take her to this like 4-star restaurant. We're gonna get dressed nice, everything. Well, I didn't know that reservations were a thing.
You didn't know that everyone else was also doing something very nice for their significant other on the same night?
I didn't think about that. So we show up at the restaurant and there's a 2-hour wait.
Shut.
And we had both gotten off of work and we actually drove up. We don't live in Charlotte. We live right outside of Charlotte. So we had ridden up to Charlotte. And we didn't get there until about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And there's a 2-hour wait. And we were like, I was like, can we go somewhere else? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, well, we had both been to the really nice restaurant that we were going to before. And I said, what were you going to think about?
What's the name of the restaurant?
Firebirds. Shout out Firebirds. They do like everything over a wood fire grill.
Yeah.
And like you said, you called me a beast on the grill.
Yeah,
I'm not going to claim that. I think I'm mediocre at best. But I like the grill style food. So she was like, well, I was going to get like the half rack of ribs. And I'm like, oh, shorty. Like,
shut up. Homegirl got dressed real nice and she was like, listen, I was about to tuck a napkin in my dress and I was about to tear up a half rack of ribs.
So I was like, okay, well, maybe I can find another rib place like nearby. And the only place that I could find was a place known as Sticky Fingers.
Boy.
So
that's Petey's love language.
Our first ever date was to a Sticky Fingers.
Wow.
She got a full rack of ribs.
Shut up.
And killed it.
Did you leave Sticky Fingers and immediately go to like the nearest jeweler and be like, listen,
it was about,
I'm locking it down right now.
It was about 10 o'clock at night by the time we left.
Yeah.
So there were no jewelers open. But you can say that I was looking up rings soon after.
That's awesome.
And it always made it funny because I saw like a meme years later after our like first date. And it said something. It was like, if you're a Christian, you should take your girlfriend on a date. Her first date should be to a rib place because she came from one. Ooh, and I was like, boy, I'm already on top of that.
You were like, wait a minute. Was it like
we started it?
Art imitated life at that point.
And
which it usually does.
So every year we have ribs. I actually find we used to go to Sticky Fingers, and then the Sticky Fingers in Charlotte closed down, RIP. And so we had to find other barbecue places that do it, but we usually do ribs.
That's awesome, man.
But yeah, it's been very fun. It's been very different because she was raised Pentecostal, and I wasn't.
I love how that's the only response. You can't say Pentecostal when I was raised Church of God, or I was raised Catholic.
Well, I'm not that.
I'm not that what she was.
I didn't want to drop the actual denomination because I didn't want to give anything away to anything. But she was raised in a church that was Pentecostal, and they believe in all that.
Yeah.
Let's just say that they're loud.
Yes. And I'm getting into a church story here. I figured I'd finally drop one.
Segueing us.
Yes, I figured I'd finally drop one. So I was raised. My mom, when I was born, was Catholic.
Okay.
I was christened in a Catholic church in Honduras. I was one of those kids that you would go on a missions trip and take pictures with.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Started from the bottom. Now we here.
I wasn't born in Honduras, but I lived in Honduras when I was very young. Then
where were you born?
I was born in North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. My mom's white, for those that don't know. And I was born in Wilmington, but we moved to Honduras for a little bit. Was christened down there, Catholicism. I moved to Rock Hill. My mom still went to a Catholic. I don't know if it was a church or a cult. I don't know. But it was something Catholic. And my mom remarried, and
I just dropped my wedding ring. Sorry.
Sorry, Grace.
What are you playing with your wedding ring for?
I've lost 2 wedding rings.
I'm sorry. Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Like the original one?
I lost the original one. I think I was at work and it fell off. I work on ladders and stuff, so I lost it. And then my second one, I got one of those silicone ones.
Yeah. Amazon. You can get a 10-pack for like $2.
It was eaten by my dog.
Wow.
So
My sister's husband,
but shredded.
lost 2 of them. And I was like, it's time to get a tattoo, man.
That's what I'm going for now.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna it's permanent. Like I want to be married to my wife forever, so just make it permanent now.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I was raised Catholic. Then when my mom remarried, we started going to a Presbyterian church, which was not far off from a Catholic church. It was very Reformed. You had to wear a suit when you went to church. 100-person choir. Really, the only thing we were missing was the little knee pads in front of the every pew, and the Pope. Pretty much, that was it. It was pretty spot on. And then also Baptist, but like Southern Baptist got mixed into that. Like,
Golly, you're just like a melting pot.
Yeah, like
denominations.
Like my family was so Southern Baptist, they wouldn't cook on Sundays because they considered that work.
Shut up.
I'm not kidding.
Wow. Shut up.
You would cook everything on Saturday and put it in the refrigerator and then just reheat it. You wouldn't turn on the stove though. You had to actually reheat it like in the microwave. Yeah.
Really?
Because it was considered work. But you don't work on the Sabbath, man.
Okay. So did you eat
applaud that.
What do you mean you applaud that?
I like it.
It's because you like eating out.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine if you had like a family though. I mean, did y'all eat out a lot or did y'all just reheat stuff at home?
Reheat. Which I loved it.
Sabbath.
I thought that was normal growing up, which was great. I enjoyed it.
Then you went to people's houses and their grandmas were
like, "You're
left church early to get in the kitchen,
And I'm
dude.
like, oh,
hop on the ones and twos.
And I'd go to my friend and go, "Hey, your grandma's going to hell, right?" And they're like,
grandma's
"What?"
carving ham right now, right?
She's working right now. Like, I tell people I had a very weird look on religion growing up, just because like the churches I go to, like the commandments and everything were like not beaten into you, but like beaten into you,
Branded.
like I did catechism growing up, and like catechism was a thing where every month you would go sit down with like a church leader and you would just recite Bible verses just over and over, and like every month you had like 3 pages of Bible verses that you had to memorize.
Really?
Yeah. And so I never learned anything, but I remembered a lot.
Could you hold on?
That's school.
Hold on. Stop right there. Tell me that isn't a bulk of church.
That is.
For a lot of people.
That it's just
you don't learn anything.
Yeah, just memorize
But you memorize a lot of it.
For candy if you're in children's church.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's at the end of the, like every couple months, if you had gotten to like a certain score, like they would score you and everything.
Yeah.
And you would get like candy or something, or like a little prize. So that's how my life went. Now, when I was about 12, 13, 14, in that age range, I just left church completely. I'd kind of given up on the whole idea of it because I was in that whole process where it just got beat into you. It was just a memory thing. And then I had some instances where I just wasn't treated fairly to what I felt fairly. And my mom was cool with it. She's like, yeah, if you don't want to go to church, you don't have to go to church.
Was your mom not strict and like the
No,
really?
no. Like, my mom would let me buy like Eminem albums. Like, she was really cool. Like, it was like you're Christian, but not like practicing, as they say.
Yeah.
But
So why didn't you just tell her, hey, I still want to go to church. I don't want to do catechism though. I just want to skip everything that's like the learning part.
I think catechism ended at like 10. I think you stopped that, and then you got to go to the youth group, and the youth group was nothing but like playing Xbox. Like that's all we did.
Boy.
Gang. Seriously, like I remember that they had like a whole game room, and you could sit in that game room at any time and just play Xbox. And this was back when you had to have the landlines, so there was like 7 TVs set up there with like 4 Xboxes, and we just sit there and play Halo 1 and 2 all day.
Me and producer Tony, who's not here today actually, but we escaped children's church to go play Call of Duty a few times.
Sometimes you have to do that, you know?
Wow.
So when I left the church,
At like what? At 14?
12, it was like from the age of 12 to 14, I didn't go to church. And then I got into high school, and one of my best friends invited me to a church. It was a church, the denominations where we all met.
Yeah.
And the sole purpose he invited me, not because he wanted me to know Jesus, not because he wanted to hang out. It was because the youth pastor at the time looked very similar to me.
Shut up.
I'm not even kidding. He
Really?
goes, "Hey man, the youth pastor at this church I go to, you and him act very much alike, and you guys look a lot alike." And
This worked?
Yeah, it worked.
So he's like, "Hey, Felipe, you want to meet your doppelganger?"
Pretty much.
Where you're like, hey, you got to drive this dagger in his heart, though.
Yeah, it's crazy though. I actually know the day that I went. It was 3 days after my 15th birthday. So literally from 12 to 15 didn't go to church at all.
Jeez.
So I go to this church for probably about 6-7 months, and
You go because you were told that you resemble the youth pastor.
Yes.
And you stay for 6 to 7 months after that.
well, it's actually funny. The first time I went, the youth pastor wasn't there. He was at the camp that we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
And my now father-in-law was teaching that night.
Okay.
So, and I met him, and that's when I was very into like hardcore and you know, PD mentioned on a recent episode about a band called August Burns Red. Like I was really into that style of music. I was in a couple of hardcore bands in high school and stuff. And I show up to church, Mr. Hardcore Kid, and my father-in-law walks in, and he is in his biker stuff. Remember I mentioned the TV show earlier. He was in full biker gear, like chains and black t-shirts, bandanas and spike bracelets, glasses. Looked pretty cool. And I was like, wait, you can do that at a church? And they were cool with it. He was teaching.
Really?
He was teaching. And he's got a big skull on his chest from his shirt, you know?
Wow.
So I was like, man, this church is cool. You can do that, you know? And so I was like, you know what? I didn't meet the youth pastor that everybody wants me to meet, because I kept telling my friend, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want. And then he, you know,
What were you supposed to say if you went like, hey, I heard you look like me?
That's pretty much what I did. The second week I went by, and again, the youth pastor was not there because of camp. And I ended up meeting now one of my best friends. I'll drop his name because it's cool. Nothing bad's going to be said about him. Mr. Dave Isbell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you know
Love
Dave.
Dave. I love Dave.
Yeah, Dave's a great guy. He's very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Shout out to Dave. We gotta have him on the show.
Yeah,
I don't even know who Dave is, but come on, man.
Dave's one of those people who hopped out of the pastoring game.
Yes, one of the many people.
Yeah.
And we actually, it's funny because when I first started going to that church, we called him Buddha. Yeah, we were at a Christian church calling
Was he bald at the time?
Yeah, he's been bald as long as I've known him. You know, so we called him Buddha. But it was all the like the bad kids that would call him Buddha.
Yeah.
Like none of the people that actually like went to the church, grew up in the church,
Yeah.
called him Buddha. It was all the like rocker kids who just showed up because it was fun, and they usually had like pizza or something, you know. Because before I came, the youth pastor would go down to where all the bad kids hung out, invite them to church.
Bold.
And so that's how all these rocker kids started going to this youth group.
That's a Jesus move, isn't it?
It is.
That's like, do you mean meeting people where they're at?
Yeah. And it was great.
I love how that sounds out of the ordinary.
It really
That's
does.
literally what kind of Jesus did.
Yeah. And he
But now
invited
people do it as
I remember when I first started going to this youth group, the people that were that grew up in that church would be like, who are these kids? You know, my wife even said, you know, she was kind of like, because she grew up in this church, and she was like, what are these kids doing here?
Wow.
You know, and then so I met my good friend Dave, and I was like, man, this guy Dave is really cool, and the guy last week, Alan, he's very cool. This is pretty cool. And then the third week, I finally met the youth pastor.
What'd you say?
And I walked up to him and said, hey, I'm told we look alike, and we're similar. We do things similar, or similar things, like we act the
And
same
then you
way.
went to shake hands, and your hands didn't touch because they went through each other.
Yes,
And then it
they
was
did.
two Spider-Man pointing
Well,
at
we-
each other.
Two Spider-Man pointing at each other. .jpg.
We actually started the Brown Brotherhood
Yeah.
because he was darker in color, and then that actually went statewide. A former youth pastor turned full-time pastor that we all know was a part of the Brown Brotherhood. I'm sure you can figure out who that is.
Yeah.
And then there was a guy down in Charleston that was also part of the Brown Brotherhood. So we had a handshake and everything.
Shut up.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Dang.
That sounds like something I'd hear conservative talk radio being again. Like the Brown Brotherhood is at it again.
Ben Shapiro. Don't let Ben Shapiro hear this.
Alex Jones is going to be yelling about it.
Brown Brotherhood are back.
The Brown Brotherhood's trying to destroy the world, and I'm going to save it.
Like Relay is just some dudes from Rock Hill.
Yeah, it's just some,
and like South Carolina.
It's these like 4 guys. It was only 4 guys from the denomination that saw each other maybe twice a year at conventions. You know, but so I started going to the church, and they used to have Convert on Sunday nights.
Converse the youth ministry?
Yeah, the youth ministry.
That's a hip name.
Yeah, we had really cool T-shirts and everything. It was awesome.
Was it like a C, like a crooked C?
Yeah, on a cross. I can't remember the design.
On a cross?
We and then and then we did
Convert the T at the end was the cross.
Our friend Dave became a youth pastor at this church at one time, and he redid the logo because he's like, it needs to look newer. He did a great job on the redesign and everything. I forget what it looks like. I think I have one of those shirts tucked away in a closet somewhere. But so they used to do Sunday night youth groups, and I didn't know that they were every other week. I thought they were every week. So I showed up. I heard, the youth pastor came up to me and he was like, "Yeah, man, you need to come Sunday night. We're doing the youth group." I said, "Yeah, man, I'll be there." So I show up first week, great. I show up the second week, they're not having it.
Bamboozle.
I was bamboozled. So I show up and I'm like, "Oh, we're not doing youth," and they're like, "No." And at that point, you can't just leave, you know?
Yeah.
You can't be like, "Oh, all right, bye, have a great day." No.
Who was there?
We stayed. It was the full church service. It was like a Sunday night church service. And
that's old time for y'all. Y'all, what y'all know about that Sunday night church service?
What do y'all know about the Sunday night?
What y'all know about that? What y'all know about cracking open that red hymnal and singing on Sunday night?
We go on Sunday morning and Sunday night.
Yeah. Don't get me started.
And if you're on the worship team like I was at one point, you're there all day.
Dude.
You go eat lunch, take a 5-minute nap, and head right back to church to practice. But so you got reeled in Sunday night. I got there on a real Sunday night. And as they say, the Spirit hit.
Ooh.
All right.
Ooh.
And I was in the group with all the youth kids. Like we had like a section we would all sit in the sanctuary. This is the first time I've ever sat in that section. And the person behind me, and I know you definitely know him. You might know him.
Josh?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I like how you just read that. Josh? Yeah. I was trying not to name drop, but Josh. Yeah, Josh.
Shout out to Josh.
Josh started speaking in tongues. And I have never heard it at that point in my life.
You're losing your mind.
No. I just thought he was scatting with the music.
Woo! Man.
Like Louis Armstrong. No lie. Oh, it gets better.
Oh, God.
I go home, right? And my mom is like, "Hey, how was church tonight?" My mom's like, my mom's all happy because I'm going to church again. So anytime I'd walk in, she'd be like, "How was church tonight?" And I'm like, "Mom, it was great." She goes, "What did you guys do?" And I said, "Well, they didn't have the youth service, so we sat in the sanctuary for the Sunday night service." She goes, "Oh, cool. How was it?" I said, "Well, there's this guy behind me that was scatting with the music." And she goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah, when the music was going on, he started he was I'm not going to imitate I won't imitate the noise that he does because I don't want to be sacrilegious or anything, but
we can just assume it was like biddly boop bow.
Yes. So my mom is like, "Son, that's speaking in tongues." And I'm like, "What?" Yeah, it's a Pentecostal thing. You go to a Pentecostal church now. They believe in speaking in tongues, and I was like, what? And it actually, the sad thing is it took me maybe another year and a half to actually read the passage of scripture that they talk about, where I was there for a year and a half, not really understanding what was going on. And I had many services where guys would shake me and pray for me to get me to do, me to do what they were doing.
Did you?
And I didn't know what it was. I was like, I don't want to. Really, I'm not Louis Armstrong, guys. It's a wonderful world.
They got their hands on you. You should have just been like, I don't know how to scat. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
No,
honestly,
thank you, please.
That's one of my favorite lines in this podcast ever. I thought he was scatting to the music.
I'm dead serious. And seriously, like even once she told me that he was speaking in tongues, I was like, that doesn't make sense. Because why would you do that with the music? You know, it doesn't make sense.
Oh man, that's so funny.
So,
Felipe.
that was my first introduction into the Pentecostal world. And since then, I've now left the church.
Dude,
I was like,
we couldn't write a better episode than this.
I'm done scatting. Guys.
You're like, I'm hanging up the saxophone, boys.
Exactly. I was even on the worship team and everything. And I don't want to speak. I don't want to sound like I want to speak or I'm speaking bad about the church. The church is great. If anybody that goes to that church or is still involved in that ministry, there's nothing bad there. No bad blood or anything. My wife and I felt like it was time for a new pathway.
Yeah.
We needed something new in life.
Tell me, let me ask you something. How, because I know where you are.
Yes.
Me and my wife actually just got plugged into a great church. I love it. I'm not trying to brag. I know, like, hearing someone say that now is just kind of like weird. Because every time people go like, oh, I love the church that I'm going to. In the past, I'd be like, I wish I knew how that felt. Yeah. You know what I mean? And now I'm in that place. We're very blessed, very thankful. Shout out to Upcountry Church. Shout out to my pastor, Rob Barucci, who has the coolest name out of all pastors.
There you go.
So how
makes me want to live in Greenville.
Come on down, dude. You left the church at 12.
Yes.
Came back.
Yes, I was 15.
And then you fall in love with the church again.
Yes, I really did. I really fell in love with that church. They were really, the people there are great. I still see a lot of those people. My grandfather-in-law, I guess you could say, was a deacon at the church for a long time. Now he runs a ministry out of that church that feed kids in Peru. Yeah. Like, very great church. I just needed something new.
That's awesome. Well, then, like, how does it feel being, like, almost, the word I want to use is, like, displaced? You know?
It's different. We're still shopping. That's the big thing.
I love that word.
Still swiping.
Swiping
left and right.
BD, lock it down right now.
We need a
Tinder for
Tinder.
church.
Church stories should start it.
Like, don't let John Christ get a hold of this podcast. We'll see a video tomorrow.
Yeah. What you're on? Let's say what should we name it?
Chinder.
Chinder. There you go.
That sounds like a disease.
Yeah, that does sound.
I have chinders on my back.
Okay, wait a sec.
You're reading the church names there. We have scatting from 11:30 to 12.
And you're like, babe, scatting from 11 to 12. We could catch the 9 a.m. scat or the 11 p.m.
I'm gonna swipe left on that one. Next church.
For later.
All right, I have a question.
Ooh.
Do you think that moshing is that far off for Pentecostal churches?
It's not. I've actually done that.
Really?
At a church convention.
Really?
Yes.
Was it planned?
Yes. A lot of the rocker. I think I was telling you about this kind of at the wedding. That I got us kicked out of a hotel. The whole denomination of the church. You pastor.
So they're like, not only do we banish you, Felipe, we banish all of your people.
Shut. Okay, what is it? A hotel in Spartanburg?
No, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Y'all got kicked out of a hotel.
Hashtag Dirty Myrtle.
What day?
This
did y'all
was
still have days to stay though?
No, they didn't kick us out that day. They just said, you guys can't come back.
Ooh.
Was this the retreat during the winter?
Yes,
Okay.
winter retreat.
Dirty Myrtle.
My first year ever going to the youth convention in Myrtle Beach, I think it was a year after I started going to the church. So we went. I've never been to a youth convention before. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know anything about it. So I show up and I'm in a room with, at the time, my best friend.
Just
And-
a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, but the same room we're in is in the room with the youth pastor. So, we were, going to be well behaved. But then we found out that he has to leave like an hour early for service because he's leading worship for the entire convention.
Yeah.
So he would leave 4 young guys in a hotel room by
Yes.
themselves.
Yes. Ooh.
Which, that
3 of the
is
guys,
party time.
not the greatest at following the rules, I guess you could say.
I love how you're like trying to cushion,
I'm
trying to cushion
figure
it
out how this-
as best as possible.
So we wake up and we all get ready for service, but we have like another, we woke up with the youth pastor. We have like another 2 hours to an hour and a half before we have to go down there. So we walk out on the balcony and we have a beachfront hotel room. So we're just looking at the beach and we look up and the balcony above us is another group from our church.
Okay.
They're just a balcony above us. So my friend and I, who at the time we were both very into like parkour, we decided to climb up there from the balcony.
Is this 2006?
2008. I
Okay,
think it
because that was around the time frame when parkour was a huge
Yeah.
YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Huge.
We would go in his woods and do all these parkour moves. We were terrible.
What-
Have you ever seen The Office parkour?
yeah.
That bad. But we climbed up the balcony.
What level were y'all
We're
on?
probably on like level 3 or 4.
3, and y'all
Climbed up
on
to
the
level
balcony.
5 or 6. Yeah.
Really?
So
Really?
Yeah.
So
from
if
the
you
balcony
fell,
outside.
then-
At any point in time,
Yeah,
were you
and
thinking I could
And below
check
us,
myself up?
Below us was the indoor swimming pool, and it was a glass house,
Oh.
So if we would have fell, game over.
Oh.
We didn't think about that. We just did it. We get up there, and the chaperone for that room, like we get up there with our buddies, and we're hanging out on the balcony, and then we walk into the sliding glass doors, and the chaperone for that room is like, guys, where did y'all come from?
And you're like, sweet Spider-Man.
Yeah,
We were sent by the Lord.
So he goes, oh, no, y'all shouldn't have done that. Go back down to your room. So we just go back down to our room from in the hallways.
Okay.
And then we go outside, and we had brought lightsabers to the convention with us.
Of course.
So the
And-
almost like coming close to death by climbing up a few
Wasn't
levels.
It wasn't enough. We wanted to beat each other with lightsabers. So we went out on the beach and beat each other with lightsabers. And
this is all that time while your pastor is like the time where
leading-
he's like, I got to go to church early.
yeah,
to the service
to
center
get
early.
ready. Yeah, to get ready for
They're
worship,
like,
to practice
we
and
going
everything.
ham.
So later on, we go to service. Service goes great, everything. And we get back to the room, and the youth pastor takes me to the side. Me and him at this time had gotten really close.
Is it Dave?
No, it wasn't Dave at this time. It was another guy. Really loved the guy. He was a really nice guy. He was like I don't want to say father figure, but kind of like a great uncle. Just a good guy. Really knew how to connect with people because, like you said, he would go where they are.
Yeah.
So me and him really, really connected. There were a lot of times where me and him would go out for lunch and just talk and have a good time. And so it was somebody I could really confide in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he brings me over to the side, and I got the tongue lashing of a lifetime. Because a security guard for the hotel was standing on the beach
Shut up.
watching us climb up there.
Oh my gosh.
So I got saved that night.
Oh, and so like you were like, the only way to come back from this is to dedicate my life to Jesus down at the altar, baby.
Exactly. You got to think. The youth pastor who I was first under at the church, he was in the military.
Okay.
So he had the military style, like yelling at me. And my dad told this youth pastor before we left, if Felipe does anything wrong, you have my permission to beat him.
How old were you?
15, 16 years old.
I love that you had the same type of parent that I had.
Yeah, just beat him.
Wait, so you got saved.
Don't care.
So then you could be like, Felipe didn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, or no,
that was the old me.
Yeah.
I've already been baptized in the Spirit.
I mean, like, yeah, you're like, your son didn't like. Oh yeah, you remember? You mean
The old me.
You mean the old me?
Dark Felipe did that.
Behold, all things have passed. New
Evil
things
Felipe.
have happened.
Plot twist, I didn't get saved that night.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, so I got chewed out. Later on that night at the actual service, one of the rock and roll kids looked at me and he said, man, I worship with mosh. And I was like, you can do that? And he goes, yeah. I said, I worship with mosh. So at the convention, we started what is called hardcore dancing. I know, I'm sure, PD, you understand what I'm talking about. Shama, I don't know if you're on the page.
No, I'm too white. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm black enough to season food, white enough to be gentrified, not white enough to know what moshing
Yeah,
is.
so
hardcore dancing is.
We started basically hardcore dancing, moshing, like two-stepping, throwing our arms and everything. And the state overseer at the time, who was a bigger guy for clarification, comes over and he's like, sweet Lord, y'all shouldn't be doing that, you know? Because
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The state youth leader at the time, he had a little bit of seasoning on him, you know? He had a little bit of, you know, I love him to death. But yeah, he comes over, honey, y'all shouldn't be doing that. And I think we ended up like kicking over like a speaker or something. Oh. Yeah. So we got in some more trouble. So years later, like I'm talking about like I made it through high school. So this is 5 years later. I am the state director at the time was doing not a mission trip, but he was traveling. He was evangelizing somewhere else, and he asked me to go with him because by then I'd gotten saved and
for real
was in the church. I was a youth leader for many years, not a youth pastor, youth leader.
That's the next step. If you would have stuck around, you would have got promoted.
Probably.
They passing that job out, man.
They really are. But he invited me to go on this trip with him, and I'd never been to where we were going, so I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Like, I'll go." So we were in the car together. He was like, "I usually fly, but because I have you, I can't afford it." And I was like, "Oh, I got you. We'll drive." And we drove, and we were in the car together for 14, 15 hours. So we just kind of talked about everything, had a lot of fun, found out he loves custard pie. Loves custard pie. If you ever want to make him happy, get him some custard pie.
Bet.
So we're talking, and I ask him, I go, "Hey, we back in like 2008, 2009, there's a hotel we stayed at for youth convention." And
you told on yourself.
No, hold on. We never went back to that hotel again. We started going to another hotel. Shout out to Sea Mist, because that's where we would go. And then we had like a tenure at the Sea Mist.
Yeah.
I was like, but before that, we were at another hotel. Did y'all used to have convention there? Yeah. He's like, yeah, we used to go there all the time. And I go, well, what happened? Why did we stop going to that hotel? And he goes, well, there were youth kids that got caught climbing the balconies. And that was strike one. And then strike two was they were moshing later that evening and broke something. And they never let us back. And I was like, Oh, that's good to know. Never told him. Never told him. I was like, I'm not admitting to that.
Wait, 2 strikes.
So-
What kind of game is this? You get 3
I don't know.
strikes.
I don't know. Maybe there was a third strike that I didn't know about.
Just call that hotel right
Maybe
now
it
and put
was
him on
the
speakerphone.
lightsaber thing.
Maybe it was. Maybe they were like the same kids that were climbing the balcony were
Same kids
literally
were
beating.
cosplaying.
Yeah, they were beating each other in front of our hotel. So, so that was really fun to know that I got us kicked out of a hotel. I was part of the reason.
I've been kicked out of restaurants before.
Yeah, I got kicked out of McDonald's for climbing on Ronald McDonald.
Really?
How?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a friendly clown. Like,
Man,
Well, I was like
can't
in his
desecrate
arms. Like I got like I made it look like he was holding me.
oh,
Yeah.
Is there a
so
picture
bad.
somewhere?
No.
Oh.
This is
Bad.
before everybody had a phone in their
what's so
pocket.
bad about that? I do that on the daily.
You got
Like,
kicked out of a Chick-fil-A with youth, man.
what?
Yeah,
How do you
no.
get kicked out of a Chick-fil-A?
Oh, they were
Dude,
just like
usually they're
they just asked like, please don't come back. Is that what happened?
yeah.
you
they're
can
just
come
kinda
back,
like,
but we don't
no,
want
they
you to come
called-
back.
They called the church secretary.
Yeah.
The next day. Yeah. Apparently, we had some youth who were like playing in the kids playground, kids area or whatever.
They're too big, man.
They're
Yeah,
huge.
they
Remember
were
when kids
above
6 foot something?
the
just
height
going
requirement.
ham.
I know who you're talking about.
And I mean, a part of me was like, hey, it's not. And then apparently the Chick-fil-A lady usually they're full of like patience and grace,
Yeah.
but that one time she just went,
Nope. We're gonna have to ask you to
we're
leave.
gonna have to ask you to leave. And I went, all right, bet, sorry, whatever. I made sure to like clean up and we like moved the tables back around because there was like 20 of us. And then the
Yeah.
next day, the secretary was like, hey, I got a call, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna be around for too much longer, so this isn't my problem.
That's crazy. I think I win though. I got an entire denomination kicked out.
Dude,
Yeah.
you do. You take the. We need to give you a prize or something.
A plaque.
The biggest oof.
But since then, I've done a lot better. I got to
And you have. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, to really see, where God has moved in my life and worked. It's crazy sometimes. I've seen God work from pretty much when I was born till now, and it's been crazy. Not many people make it through some of the situations that I've made it through, and not only I feel successful in life. I'm not a rich guy. I can pay my bills, but I feel successful. And to be where I was at one time in life to where I am now, and seeing where God has put himself in my life in multiple situations, it's been great. Not to get deep, for a minute, but
Go there, brother.
I was born deaf.
Really?
Couldn't hear.
Wow.
Couldn't hear at all, man. And about 2 years old, I got my hearing back.
Wow.
And my mom tells me the first thing that I did when I came out of the operating room and woke up was she was talking to the doctor, and I woke up, and at the time I fluently spoke sign language, and she
Really?
told me,
Really?
yeah, she told me. I woke up and looked at her and told her I could, in sign language, I was like, I can hear you.
Wow. Wow.
That's just a little small blessing. I've had 13 ear surgeries since then.
Really?
Just a couple years ago, I punctured my eardrum.
What the heck?
Yeah, so I've had a lot of. I didn't. A couple of surgeries were probably my fault because I like to listen to loud music but yeah,
crazy.
My wife, complete blessing in disguise. Like I said, I met my wife at a family fun day.
Getting hot dogs, right?
Getting hot dogs. She made the joke. It was funny because it was a group of girls, and it's the your typical high school prep girls, wearing the North Face and everything, and they're talking about tanning beds. They're talking about going to the tanning bed, which is a typical, white girl thing to talk about.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there, and for those that don't know, I'm a darker colored person, and I just made the joke, like, because they were also talking about spray tans. I made the joke. I said, I wonder what color I would turn with a spray tan. And my wife popped up and said purple. That made me laugh.
Yeah.
And that was the moment I knew, like, I want to marry this girl.
I'm about to go ribs, and then we're gonna get married.
Yeah. But that was like 3 or 4 years before we even dated.
Jeez.
Because I was
you had
scared
to
of
watch
her
each other kind of
grow. Yeah. And she has said multiple times, if I would have asked her out like at that time, she probably would have said no, and then I would be lonely. So, and then
you're not, and here you are.
it's great.
Doing
and then
big things.
my engagement was great. Everything worked out. Like I proposed to my wife in one of the highest places of rain in the United States. We were in Hawaii because I go all out, and
Nice.
where I proposed to her, it rains like 90% of the time. Didn't rain one drop that entire day.
Shut up.
You know, our wedding, when we were planning our wedding, the venue we had picked out sold. They sold the building to another person, and they turned it into a grocery store. Then my wife, you understand wedding planning. It's stressful.
Sheesh. Yeah, you bet.
And you guys had a change of venue, like
You got like a week before.
yeah, and it's crazy. And we had a sizable wedding to where we couldn't fit it in the church, so we had to find a whole new place.
The grocery place,
Yeah,
right?
no,
We're all like, hey guys, we can move
were-
some of these cans.
Yeah, exactly. But we ended up finding a place that was cheaper and nicer than the place we originally went, and it happened to be like 2 minutes from my house.
Jeez.
And right now in life, she's graduated college, she's got a job. One of the reasons she has the job, she's a great teacher. I don't want to say the sole reason she has a job is because the principal is somebody we know from church.
Yeah.
That's all God. God's involved in every little thing.
Right.
A lot of people forget that, and even now, there's things going on in my life right now that I'm making me see God again, and it's like he's wonderful. There's I wouldn't have anything without him, and I'm thankful for that.
But you gonna take up a love offering?
Hey,
I need to get back home, you guys. I live 2 hours away.
Dude, yeah.
but I'm glad
We're
God
gonna wind
restored
it
your
down.
hearing.
We're gonna do some scatting. I'm gonna sit an offering plate around.
So if God hadn't restored your hearing, do you know how difficult it would be to do a podcast?
It
with you?
would. It would. I'd be sitting here doing
For those of
doing Morse
y'all
code. I'd be
who
sitting
don't
here
know, Felipe made jokey joke.
We'd have a translator for him.
yeah.
And like, what'd he say? That was rude. That was insensitive. I'm sorry. I'd take up. My friends. My friend Zach, who we're gonna have on the podcast, his father-in-law is deaf.
Oh,
And he actually learned sign language when he started dating his now wife, and he said his father-in-law performed their wedding ceremony.
that's
I
awesome.
just thought that was so unique, to go from
That nobody knows what he is saying. You're just sitting there, and he's like,
right. But I think a lot of people.
"Did they have a translator?"
I don't know. I think everybody. It was a smaller wedding.
Oh.
It was like more of like a family
Yeah,
wedding.
so, like,
I
most
think
people
everybody
knew.
sort of understood.
That would
They
just be
kinda
the
let moment
ultimate troll,
exist,
though.
yeah.
Like if you invited all these people to the wedding,
Like
and
surprise,
it's a
surprise.
deaf pastor.
The wedding's in Korean.
Yeah,
all right?
exactly.
Apologies to the deaf people listening.
All right, I'm gonna take down this microphone. I'm out of here, guys.
If you're listening, deaf people, we love you.
Oh.
I think one of the most ultimate trolls I've seen lately is the Baltimore Orioles. I think it was. They put Braille on the back of their uniforms. I'm like, what is that gonna? You're trying to help
It's
blind people?
Okay,
like
no.
they can't see.
It's for a fan. If a blind fan runs on the field and grabs a player, they're gonna want to know who it is.
I know exactly who this is.
I saw a joke
Smith?
about it. They said, "Man, this really helped all the blind people that could see it." And it's like, oh, man, like,
Jeez.
why would you do that?
Guys, this has been good.
Yeah.
Let's wind it down.
Yeah.
With another song from Ben Jammin.
Welcome back. You didn't think we were going to
Welcome to the Ben Jammin podcast.
We end up with praise reports, as you know,
Yes.
Felipe. You kind of already hit all your praise reports.
I really did.
But hit us with one praise report.
I can't really say what's going on. I wish I could. It's exciting news. Maybe I'll
Whoa.
probably.
Is that what I think it is?
I don't know. I can't say anything.
You sound like a celebrity. Like, I'm really excited about this. I can't talk about it.
Yeah, I'm like Nick Saban
Hey,
right
man,
now
listen,
at the end of a game.
you're in the new Infinity
We
Wars.
were doing good, but there were some things we can fix. Well, what do you want fixed? Just some things. Roll Tide.
That's my favorite thing about him, though. Is like, no matter how good Alabama plays, he's never satisfied.
Yes, Roll Tide.
Which is the sign of a good leader.
Anybody playing their drinking game still? Roll Tide.
They're gone. They're passed out. So what?
Yeah.
So I think. Do I know?
You probably do.
Okay.
There's just some stuff going on in our life that I'm very excited about. It brings a lot of things together, and it's great. I wish I could say, because I don't know when this is going to air.
Like a couple weeks.
Yeah,
few weeks.
and I can't announce it until it's completely confirmed.
Don't worry about it.
And in motion. So I'm excited, and I'm just praise to God for what's going on, because it's going to be a great move for my family of 2 right now, but it's great. So I'm just thankful for that, and thankful for every blessing I have coming.
So good. Dude.
Amen.
PD, let's hear another Japanese food praise report. I love it.
It's not about Japanese food this time.
yeah.
Although, I mean, Japanese food has blessed me.
Front door, dude.
It's actually okay. So it
I feel
has to
the
do
same.
with Josh Rosh.
Oh,
So I'm seeing Metallica next month in Charlotte.
yeah. I'm going to the Raleigh one.
Oh, cool.
With my father-in-law. I'm sorry to interrupt your praise report, but
you're fine.
he grew up in the 80s in Northern California when Metallica was like when Master of Puppets came out. So
Man.
where he told me, he's like, we have to go. And I said, well, the October one's like in 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, but in like 2 months. And he goes, how much are tickets? He goes, I don't like those prices. Are they playing anywhere closer? I said, they're playing in Raleigh in January. He goes, let's go there. So hopefully it's the same show, because then we can talk about it.
Yeah, it should be. But they do change the set list a little bit every night. But so I was going to that on the 22nd. And then Josh Rosh hits me up, and he wants to go to a wrestling show on the 21st.
Yeah.
And the wrestling show is in Concord. And I'm
Oh.
supposed to drive to Charlotte the next day. So I was like, wait, I can just have my sister pick me up at the wrestling show. And then I get like a ride to Charlotte with Josh. So it works out perfectly. I get to see pro wrestling and then Metallica the next day.
Well, I'm located outside of Charlotte, man. So maybe
Great
y'all
wing
can-
spot too. There's a great wing spot.
we took you to that wing spot where we had that rude waitress, which she's got nicer now.
Really?
She's at my favorite breakfast spot now.
Oh, jeez.
She switched from my favorite wing spot.
That's how you know Rock Hill is small.
Yeah.
Is that you keep up with waitresses, like waiters' jobs.
Well, one thing that made it different was, she's Honduran and I'm Honduran, so it made it very easy to remember her.
I was like, why is this freaking the South American sass, the Latina sass?
It's the
We
Honduran
don't need
sass.
I've been keeping up with it too, and I'm really glad she turned it around.
Yeah, she's been very nice. She's having a kid. She's having a kid in like a couple weeks. If she's listening to this, shout out, you're awesome. She always gets my order at my favorite restaurant to have breakfast at. So
What's the restaurant called?
the Flipside Cafe.
Flipside Cafe.
Shout
Check
out
it
to
out.
them.
Check it out.
Best steak and eggs.
That is my ultimate breakfast, brother. I might
Steak and
have that
eggs and
tomorrow.
grits. That's what I do. Steak, eggs, and grits.
Sometime this week, I'm gonna have to cook that up. What's my man? Now I'm thinking about steak and eggs. Forgot about my praise report.
Yeah,
What's
you're
my
gonna have
praise
steak
report?
and eggs tomorrow. That's your praise report.
That's it. All right. See ya.
See you guys.
My praise
You've been
report.
great.
No. It's been. I don't know. It's just been like an exciting month. I was just thinking earlier today about September, and it's been a crazy awesome month.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got to go
that's
to
awesome.
Rome, got
Get
married.
married.
Yeah,
me
dude.
and
Back
Felipe.
in Italy.
Is that when we met for the first time?
Really? Yeah, because you said you knew of me, and
At
I
camp,
remember.
yeah.
See, I remember PD with long hair. That's like the only time I remember PD with the really long hair.
Yeah.
Because I was like, "Who's that girl?" Oh,
Who's that? Who's that? No.
That was the story of my life for 2
but
years.
and I'm well on that way. For those that can't see, I'm growing my hair out for charity. So I'm gonna kind of have the Hispanic girl hair for a little bit. So I
Nice.
understand. But yeah, we met at Shama's wedding.
We were both
And-
wearing Alabama shirts.
Yes. He was more brave than I, but I think that's because I have a wife who wouldn't let me do it.
You have to, like,
but
listen,
he was wearing a
listen.
button-up shirt and it was completely unbuttoned and just big Alabama logo in it. And
the best Alabama like Roll Tide fashion.
My mom was not happy about that.
yeah.
She's
But
like,
did she know? Did she find out just as y'all were about to leave?
oh no, she knew.
Oh,
But I was just like, Roll Tide. Every time she would tell me to button it up, I'd be like, Roll Tide.
yeah. Roll Tide, mom.
Yeah, so I had an Alabama shirt underneath it, and it just had a little. It's actually one of my favorite shirts because it's dark gray and it's got just a little symbol. It's just like a symbol enough to like tell you Roll Tide, but it's not like in your face. So it's like subtle. It's like
It's like a Roll Tide.
yeah, exactly.
I told Felipe, I was like, dude, just come watch the game with us right now.
I wanted to. I really did, but we had a 2-hour drive, and
Yeah, it would have been like if
some
you had
other
stayed.
stuff was going on. So yeah.
You would have gotten home like way too late.
Yeah, it was a great game though. We destroyed Louisville.
Oh,
it
Roll
was
Tide.
great. It was great seeing us destroy Ole Miss. Roll Tide. And then Texas A&M.
I need to be a football fan so I can chime in on conversations like
You
this.
lived in Alabama at one time.
I
You
did.
Roll Tide,
I hailed from I do. I Roll Tide. Yeah, Roll
there we
Tide.
go. Finally.
Yeah.
said, "I Roll Tide."
I roll the tide.
I love
y'all.
it when people message me that don't really understand Alabama football. They'll message me like, "Hey, I saw that the Roll Tide were doing good," and I'm like,
No. Shut
"Yeah,
up.
they're doing great."
Friends. the Roll Tide's been killing it this season.
Yes.
That's gonna be my joke for forever now. Felipe, thanks for giving me that one.
I mean, additional praise report. Football's back. It's just good.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't really watch
Additional-
NFL, but I college football's back, so I always love it. That means it's going to be getting cold soon, which is great.
Yes, I saw leaves. Every time I see leaves fall on my windshield while I'm driving, I'm like,
Man.
it's Merry
Praise
Christmas.
report number 3.
Merry Christmas.
I get my hoodie back.
Yes.
Did I give you your hoodie back?
Well, no, I get to wear it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You wear a hoodie year round anyway. It doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, if I can catch a day where I won't be sweating
Yeah.
all day, then I'll do it. But it's rare.
Well,
in
see,
summer.
you guys live kind of closer to the mountains, so it gets colder quicker.
Yeah, love it.
And I prefer to live. I wish I lived closer to the beach, but I live about 3 hours from the beach. But I'm like in that middle ground where
The
it just,
pocket.
yeah, it just stays hot until like the end of October.
At least it's not.
So-
At least you don't live in Colombia.
Yeah, they're underwater right now, so they're not underwater anymore. I don't think.
Yeah.
I
Are
know
we supposed to? When we say this, are we supposed to go like, "Hey, hit the link bottom below to donate," or
to the Red Cross
And the Red
and the
Cross
Joel
is shady,
Osteen
right?
Foundation.
the JO Foundation, baby?
Yeah.
They're sending in fans.
And,
You know, like literal fans. Fans of Joel Osteen. Hey, guys, this has been Church Stories.
And bada bow.
It's been a wonderful life.
Were you planning that? Were you
Yes.
planning that?
I-
Oh, you
That was
jerk.
perfect.
You jerk.
Like an hour ago, I was like, or whenever he said that, like 10 minutes later, I was like, I gotta end the podcast with that.
Felipe, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure.
No problem, man. It's been great.
Heck yeah.
Hey, if you like this, please share it with your friends.
And if you have a funny church story, send it to us and it might make the show.
Email us, churchstoriespod@gmail.com,
Or DM us at Deuteronomemes on Instagram.
or tweet us at Church Stories.
And leave us a review on iTunes.
Every little bit helps.
You make the difference.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Stop wishing, start doing. Is that enough encouragement?
Yeah, that's enough.
All right.